I had to leave China. I didn't want to. I've been there photographing the Formula One race, and I was keen to explore Chongqing and Beijing. But the government said, no, you have to go. I'd even booked flights from Shanghai to Chongqing on the Monday after the race. I had to cancel those. So what was the story? I'll get to that in a moment. But in the interim, could you please subscribe? It's a brand new channel and I need all the help I can get. It would really make a big difference. About 8 hours ago after the Chinese Grand Prix, I headed to the smaller of the two Shanghai airports to check in for my Cathay flight to Hong Kong. Then it was off to the Air China Lounge where you can get freshly cooked noodles with beef. 6 out of 10 for that. Plenty of soft drinks, a couple of beers, no spirits, but some wines, and a very small wine glass. Wine's all right. There are plenty of snacks, and while the lounge was comfortable enough for our 45 minutes, it was never going to rival the major players. At about 10 p.m, we headed off to the gate for our 10:30 flight, and then it was on to the Airbus A330-300. There's first class on this aircraft. Not great first class, and this is the business class. Of course, this seat is a marked step down from the suites that I flew on last week and reviewed in this video. You can watch that one on the channel after this. About 30 minutes into the flight, out came the meal. The highlights of this meal: the butter and the fruit. Tuna salad, unusually ordinary. Tuna was dry and the salady bit wasn't great. Plus, there was no dressing. Prawns were bland, gave that 5 out of 10. The scotch was good, and they were serving Ayala bubbly. I rated that midfield. 2.5 hours after takeoff, and we were at our gate in Hong Kong. Look at this, all these shops are shut. It's such a great airport, and yet they shut it for 3 hours a day. There's very few people here, and in about an hour, there'll be no one here. So why did the Chinese government say that I had to leave their country? Because I wanted to go touring around for a week. It all gets back to my visa. I was on a J2 media visa. This allowed me to cover the F1 race, and when I applied for it, they wanted all sorts of information. It was certainly an arduous process, much the same as F1 media goes through to get into my country. Now, one of those forms wanted me to put my day-to-day activities down, so I said 4 days photographing F1 in Shanghai, 4 days in Chongqing, and then 3 in Beijing sightseeing. Sent off the forms, booked my airfares and hotels, and then I was contacted by a friendly Chinese visa staff member saying, no, you can't do that. You can't stay on and sightsee having had a media visa. So I said, can I change the visa? They said, no. So can I get a media visa and then a tourist visa and use them together? No. What's the answer? Well, you have to fly out of the country, let your J2 visa lapse, and then fly in on a tourist visa. So as bizarre and inconvenient and expensive as that was, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I've flown out, my J2 visa has finished, and at 8:05 this morning, I'll be taking off on a flight back to Chongqing, and when I arrive, I get my tourist visa. But interestingly, when I was booking these flights, I went and originally looked at a flight to Japan and back, and I could see this 10:30 p.m. flight from Shanghai to Hong Kong. But I couldn't see it on its own, and I couldn't see it as the first part of a flight to Chongqing with Cathay. I ended up having to ring the airline and saying, this flight from Shanghai to Hong Kong is not visible, because the other option was going at 9:30 from Pudong, and I can tell you, that would have left me very tight for time after the end of the race. After 52 minutes on the phone with one of the Cathay people, finally I had this ticket. Not cheap, but I did get some money back for the other flights that I'd had to cancel. And by going out of the smaller airport, I saved myself about 40 minutes in transfers, and I could leave an hour later. So effectively, I got an hour and 40 minutes back in my day. Well, it's going on 24 hours without sleep now, but thankfully, the lounge has just opened, so I'm into the Dan Dan noodles as we speak. Oh, and my wife, my son and his girlfriend will be here any minute, and I'm still working. I've done 2 full videos, and halfway through the travel video, now I have to send some vision to an editor. It just never ends. Let's look at duty-free pricing here. Chanel No. 5 Eau de Toilette 100 mils, $165 US. A litre of Johnny Walker Red, $20. And the most expensive bottle on sale, the Macallan M Single Malt 2023, a lazy $7,000. Right, it's shower time. This is a joy. Now, what was previously 2 is now 6 of us. Well, we're on board this Cathay A330-300, same aircraft as the other one, but it's got the older business class lie flat seat, which is comfortable, but very dated. This aircraft's 19 8.7 years of age. 28 in business and 265 in economy. And my family has all of this side of the cabin. I've been going for, at the moment, 27 hours, but I do think I'll get an hour and a half sleep on this flight. I slept for most of this flight to Chongqing, and before arriving, had to fill out an online form to enable me to enter the country again. The landing was interesting, with lots of low cloud before touching down. Now it's off through a new airport, and to enter China for the second time in a week. Getting through immigration was quick. I was always a little bit nervous that my other J2 visa hadn't run out and maybe I'd have a drama, but no such worries. 3 minutes with the agent, he's very friendly. Scanned my fingerprints, he asked to see my digital entry bizzo that I'd done and stamped my passport. So now we're collecting luggage and heading off to our hotel. Well, we ended up booking 2 drivers because there's 6 of us, both through trip.com because they're pretty much the only people that would do it. And both of the guys are here. It says they speak English on the booking site, but I don't think these fellas do. But if you want a taxi, there's plenty of them down here.
It's so cold!
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
We have a lot of luggage and a bit of a hike here. Well, this is the Indischen Hotel. It's in the financial district and it has a very small lobby, but our room has a pool, which I can't wait to see, and a pretty nice view at night. I booked this room through hotels.com, paying about $358 US per night, which for a 60 square metre room in a big city is quite unheard of, especially given it has a pool which is heated, although not very deep. Now, I've had a couple of comments from people saying, hang on, Hong Kong is China, it's disrespectful saying otherwise. I can tell you with absolute certainty, Hong Kong is not China when it comes to visas, because flying from mainland China to Hong Kong was all I needed to do to exit the country and start a new visa. The fact that it was the quickest and most economical option was also a bonus. Now, I have 4 nights in this most remarkable city and I can't wait to see all the sights, particularly at night when this place shines. Now, a favour from those who have yet to subscribe to the channel, could you please click this button with your finger to access all my future travel content. Thanks for watching.
And stay passionate.
But I will review this bottle of water that's in this little locker next to me. I'll give you my honest thoughts. As you'd expect, quality water. I'm very tired.